For over a year, Robin the Metagod has been reduced to irrelevancy. A dead channel, beating dead horses week after week. Loved by none, abandoned by all. Then, one day, I received a comment that would lead to one of the darkest discoveries of Robin's internet history. Before we start, I'd like to give full credit to King Hybird for providing all of the screenshots that brought us here today. None of this is possible without people like them stepping up and sharing their stories. First, a quick recap of a few things, just to set the foundation for this video. If you have no idea who this Robin guy is, check out my full introduction to Robin linked below. So in 2018, Robin, known as Robin Hyperlord, or his real name at the time, started a cannibalism roleplay server named
Hitokuijinshu town,
with a group of refugees from a defunct Google Plus fetish group. His right-hand man at the time was a self-identified catboy named Tinkerhat Will, who you'll see in later screenshots. As Robin started fights with more and more YouTubers and their fan bases, the server was raided time and time again over the next couple of years, including an instance of the Fact Fiend crew leading search and rescue missions to bring minors out of the server. Hitokuijinshu town came to an end in mid-2020 after Robin was tricked into giving some strangers admin permissions, who proceeded to nuke the server. This was the only public information we had about the server. We had exactly one eyewitness account and Robin's very selective retelling of events. No other hard evidence of this server's day-to-day existence remained online. Until today. I was provided a total of 16 screenshots from this server, all seemingly taken in January of 2020. Of these pictures, I've divided 14 of them into 4 separate categories to be shown today. 2 have been excluded, one for redundancy, and the other because... we'll get to it. Without further ado, let's dive right in. Let's start this off light. This first screenshot shows some of the server's various channels. It starts pretty standard at the top, but once you look downward, you quickly remember where you are. Of note at the top left is the server's icon, which is one of Robin's awful drawings I refuse to show here. Whatever that creature is, it's got both large tits and a dick. This second screenshot shows more channels, which notably include the Roleplay request channels, a section that is most likely a collection of Robin's literature and roleplay voice chats, named livestock areas. This third screenshot shows the welcome chat along with the very corny join and leave messages. Screenshot number 4 is a screenshot of Robin and Tinkerhat having an argument in the public rules channel, most likely over a server rule that Robin mentioned in his videos, which was a rule against eating his crushes. Obviously, that didn't work out, as even a cannibalism role-playing catboy could easily predict. Tinkerhat joins Neverangel as another example of Robin being unable to get along with other equally depraved degenerates. This final screenshot shows quite the rare sight, a potential woman willingly talking to Robin. While the inciting incident wasn't captured and is unknown to me, Robin is shown in full Discord mod cosplay, swooping in to defend the honor of his roleplay server, where people pretend to eat each other with steak knives. Afterward, she asks what happens on the server, to which Robin replies that they discuss in roleplay a subject matter, and he posts art and pictures from the web. He even creates original work when requested. As you'll see in the next batch of screenshots, this is quite the understatement. Prepare yourselves. That was as light as it gets. The point of no return is right about here. The sheer degeneracy on display here is hard to properly describe, but I'll try. The first one I'll show is of Robin having a petty argument, as usual. Hybird explains that he's referring to Gibby ASMR here, one of Robin's first e-girl crushes who he later turned against and threatened to rape and murder. This actually gives me a time frame for his deleted Gibby video that I previously didn't have, so thanks for that too. This next one shows Robin describing an event he wants to run. It's a mix of Chinese New Year and Burns Night, which Wikipedia tells me is basically Scottish Thanksgiving. I think I just saw somebody flinch when I said that. Attached below is quite the graphic, low-quality drawing depicting cannibalism, which is in the same style of Robin's other crude works. Notably, a nude male, rock hard, is drawn at the bottom too. A few days later, Robin is very intrigued by someone named Tiny Tim and their preference for meat, repeatedly asking whether they prefer Scottish meat or Asian meat. Note the gaps in the replies here, clearly showing that Tiny Tim here probably had a life of some sort, unlike Robin. Here, Robin describes a group of alien women as looking spicy and proceeds to elaborate on meal preparation in a message I refuse to read out loud. And finally, Robin extending the shit to real people again, asking whether people would rather eat Emma Stone or Emma Watson. The trend of internet freaks being obsessed with Emma Watson continues. Sadly, there's something else Robin shares in common with Tamir Katan. It's time to reveal some of the previously hidden danger of Robin's fetish server. First, I feel it's important to provide context. Robin has a long and established history of pedophilic tendencies on the internet. Notable incidents include defending pedophiles as good people.
I will not automatically respect pedophiles, but I'm not completely against pedophiles. They can be very decent people.
Speaking out against pedophile hunters for being unfair.
Stopping a pedophile by manipulating that person is outright cheating.
And literally showing Simpsons toddler porn on his channel at one point. Keep this in mind as I describe the next two screenshots. The first is a very concerning fantasy Robin created, in which a fictional teenage girl meets another girl on the server and talks shop with them. And then she finds out the other girl is actually her sister. And then they act out the whole eating thing. Ew. The attached picture is a very shitty drawing depicting these events, which I can't show here. Already, a teenage incest story. Bad enough, right? The second one is damning. The screenshot in question is of Robin coaxing a girl into posting a picture of herself in lingerie. There's a chance they were an adult, but knowing that minors were found in this server a few months later, I'm not even taking the chance of downloading this on my PC. Robin replied with, and I quote, "Tasty. Delicious. I assume people look at you as if you were a fine spit roast or such." No further information was within. No username, no additional messages, nothing. Thus, I have no evidence to suggest that Robin or his co-conspirators went any further with this girl, nor do I have any way of finding out. That is, unless this girl also finds this video 2 years later and drops a bunch of screen caps on me. Either way, it's clear that Robin is a very different kind of predator than the one he liked to identify as. As Robin said in his own videos, he spammed invite links across YouTube and Google+, likely in a similar manner as his links to Bellamere Kingdom and his links to his own YouTube channels later on. But now I must question just how random it was. Did he take an interest in particular people and beg them to join and be consumed? Certainly possible. These pictures provided a glance at just how disgusting this server could get during its limited heyday. A look into the other channels, however, reveals some more interesting information. Did you ever want to know how Robin acquired such a taste for other people? No? Well, he volunteered it anyway. Robin got comfortable on this server. So comfortable, in fact, that he spilled a disturbing yet insightful part of his history. Let's drop directly into a conversation he was having with Tiny Tim, where he asked how his fellow degens got into cannibalism. Robin responds with an essay's worth of paragraphs going into way too much detail. He says that he was obsessed with the idea of being eaten as a kid, and details that he fantasized over being consumed by older authority figures, giving the example of a busty teacher. Already, Robin's mind had been poisoned from a young age by an unknown source. As he grew older, he says he later shifted to being the predator, subjecting others to the horror of his cravings. He has a bit of a nostalgia session here, discussing things like his history of Tinkerhat's full government, which he had for some reason, the Power Zone dimension, the previously lost name of his other Discord server during this time, and a cannibal fantasy story named Meattown that he lost on an old laptop. The conversation proceeds to get so graphic that I'm almost glad King Hybrid stopped taking screenshots here. Alright, I think we're done. These leaks have provided lots of clarity regarding Robin's history on the internet, for better or for worse. The inner workings of his old Discord server have been exposed, confirming many previous assumptions and eyewitness accounts. However, with all these answers comes even more questions. Who was that girl that Robin convinced to expose herself? How many more women were in that server, being led on by the manipulative creatures at the top? We knew they were kids. How many? And were they subject to this treatment too?
And even Bill, he was too busy abusing other things, or too busy asleep.
Tinkerhat is probably the biggest unknown in this whole saga. As the former owner of a different cannibal roleplay group, Belmere Kingdom, owner of his own cannibal roleplay server at this time, as Robin previously revealed.
Though apparently, Bill also has a roleplay server of cannibalism that was on Discord too, just like in the Google Plus community.
Robin's right-hand man for years, and worst of all, a Minecraft YouTuber. He must have many skeletons in his own closet that I'd love to hear more about. The thought of Robin just being the tip of the iceberg in this story is a horrifying one. And considering Robin's messages here look like a pure, unfiltered stream of consciousness, how much more information about him is buried with the server? I already wasn't expecting the information I was given, as it's been over 5 years since the server existed, and the server was pretty dead to begin with, so these will all likely remain open questions. Again, big thanks to King Hybrid. None of this could have been done without you. Like with any other Robin video, I'd like to thank anyone who survived until the end. Until next time. Hey, wait a minute. He's renamed his channel.